All right, Pella, we're gonna go. All right. All right. Welcome back to perennially average out of conference, but still gonna bitch about your committee playoff rankings every week show. It's me, Alabama A&M, also known as Ampersand, co-hosting here with Slolo, Florida A&M. We're gonna run through last week's game first, and we'll get through some of this week's games that are already off to some spicy starts. We can start off, Solo, your game with Dixie State first.
Okay, so first game we got is my game against Dixie State.
I think you got muted somehow.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself for a sec. Okay.
Mute jail.
My internet was crapping out, and I was complaining about it. Okay. First game is my game against Dixie State, which was 36-22. Dixie. I started out okay. I think till the end, I was first. It was started out okay, then and 14-0 going into half, but then just failed in the second half, allowing them to score 15 in the third and 21 in the fourth. So, had to finish the game, but promising first half, disappointing second.
Oh wow, I didn't realize you had shut them out in the first half. That's crazy. What do you think was like the turning point in that game?
Well, since it ended 2 weeks ago, I don't exactly remember what happened.
Just the second half kickoff?
Could be. I don't think he returned it back or anything. I just think he finally figured out a pattern in the second half. And then I still would have been up at the end of the third, but I'm gonna guess after a score or two in the fourth, I had pretty much given up.
Yeah, feel that. Next we got Monmouth's game with Campbell. This is a curious game. Monmouth had held the ball for, I believe, the entire first quarter and cut into the bit of the second quarter too on his first drive, chewing the clock, as some of the experts do. Game ended 31-0. I know this is a frustrating game for Humboldt. I know that it's one of those games where if you don't take advantage of your opportunities, they're going to slip your hands. I think he ended up with about 86 total yards on 2 turnovers. And sometimes that's all. I mean, that's all you're going to need against a team that's going to chew the clock like that. 19 minutes to 8 minutes, that'll do that to you. So I know that's frustrating for him. Monmouth curiously removed himself from playoff consideration this week in a press conference. So that is definitely a quality loss that got a little bit worse because he won't end up being a playoff team. So hopefully Campbell can right the ship, but it seems like this week's game have already kind of flipped that script a little bit. Next, we have ETSU and Brady.
Mount Valley State and Eastern Tennessee. I think so I think ETSU didn't get up to an early lead or something like that, 7-0, but then Brady just kept it rolling. 7-14, 7-14 each quarter. So this looks like ETSU couldn't stop him and couldn't quite put enough points on the board to pull out a big upset. That would have been a great win for sadly winless Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine a rookie head coach his first game playing Brady of all people and managing to pull off the upset. That would have been one that I would tell my grandkids about for a long time. Next, we had, let's see, Jacksonville State and Montana. This is a relatively low-profile game considering how, I guess, relevant the coaches have been over the past since the inception of the league. Matt and Haber are two very good coaches for the past 2 years. Haber, you wouldn't know so much by his record this year, but undefeated for a large majority of the season last year at Montana. I think this game was originally touted to be a much bigger game than it ended up turning out to be. And I know that Matt entered the game with a lot of frustration to vent after his loss to Baba in his swan song game. 38-17 was the final. Wasn't ever really close. I think Matt got out to like a 28-10 lead by half. Or sorry, 31-14 lead by half.
Yeah, 31-14.
So, and then he just kind of salted the game away. Hopefully he got all that frustration let out on Haber because I don't want to deal with his wrath this week.
Yep, so good win by Jacksonville State. I don't know actually how good Montana's doing this.
He's still technically alive. He's still technically alive in the Big Sky division that he's in. I think he's going to have to he's going to play Danny sooner rather than later. I think that he's still alive as far as I know. And Jacksonville State finishes the year 4-0 out of conference. So big ups to him. Hopefully he doesn't finish with any more conference wins, though. You want to go through Kennesaw and Albany? Oh, he did. Okay. I'll go through it. Judge and Albany. This game was a little bit closer than anticipated. I know that Albany Valve kind of hung around on this one a little bit. Tried to get out to decently early lead, 21-14 at half. Couple curious turnovers and big plays were kind of the bane of his existence in the second half, but he ended up holding on, and a field goal ended up being the difference with in this game. I'm not sure if Solo just died or he has some business to attend to. Judge with the close win over Albany. She's played me in out of conference previously as well. She's a bit of a memer, but she's still a good player, and I'm glad that she put up a good fight against Judge. She was definitely been on the upswing as of late. Yeah, Pella, if you want to hop on, man, by all means, come on. Hop on in here, brother. Do I need to? Oh, I think he's back.
Yeah.
No problem. So next game we have is my game versus Presbyterian. 31-27. I know Presbyterian is a new coach. I was anticipating kind of playing Boomer this week, but then the slew of new coaches in the FCS made it a little bit more difficult. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I generally prefer to play coaches who have a little bit more experience, not too much, not like Danny or Jock-esque, but it's harder to get a beat on your opponents when they've never played before, and that ended up proving to be a bit of a thorn in my side. Presbyterian kicked an onside kick early in the third quarter, was not expecting that, and recovered it, and I was that ended up making the game a lot closer in the second half than it originally was. I think it was 28-10, I think, at halftime. And I ended up blocking a field goal, so on that final drive, you needed a touchdown to take the lead or tie it up.
It was like it was 24-14.
Oh, yeah. 24-14, yeah. But I could definitely tell that he was learning throughout the game, so interesting to see that. Hopefully some of our new coaches can kind of pick up on that as well, and it already seems like, based on their game this week, that they've definitely picked up some tricks of the trade.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next is Jacksonville's game against San Diego, and San Diego won 29-23. Um, Looks pretty tight through the first half. Neither team got anything going in the second half. San Diego did just enough to squeak out a win. Um, yeah, that's Jacksonville close to getting another win, but not quite there.
I saw some of Zan's post game comments about this game, and he definitely said that Jacksonville was a bit of a stouter opponent than he had imagined, which is good for the conference. Jacksonville is not one of our better teams, but I'm glad he played one of the more tenured coaches well like that. That's good. That's good looks on our conference, and even though he came out with the big L, um, I know at one point he had a lead, and it's good for the future of the conference to see that we're pretty solid top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we had Alabama State, Murray State. Alabama State's been a bit of a enigma this year. Really depends on which team shows up. Like I said, a couple weeks ago they defeated Southern Illinois out of conference, and then this week they get blown out 28-0 by Murray State. I know Turk's a good coach. Just inconsistency has been kind of the name of the game so far, and like to see him turn it around. I know. It's just sometimes it's which Alabama State team is going to show up this week. Final score was 28-0 in that one. Let me see. Just another one, yeah. Just kind of got out muscled on offense, 300 yards to 130 on offense for Murray State, and a couple costly turnovers and time possession. Just the fundamentals of the game. But Alabama State left him turn around in conference. I know he's definitely in a tough division in the South, so he's got a couple big games to finish off the rest of the season.
Probably can play spoiler to someone.
Oh, absolutely. I'm praying for it. Just not me, because I play him.
Next, we have Davidson beating Savannah State 47-34. Savannah State was consistent on offense, 10-7, 7-7, but a little bit more bursts, and especially in the fourth quarter, with 14 points in the fourth quarter to get them to win. So I think this was New Savannah State's second game. Or was it?
I think it was the first. Yeah, it was the OG game of the week.
Okay. So their first game. So it was like they put up a good fight, but I guess choked a little bit in the fourth quarter and couldn't quite get it done.
This was at the end of this game, I believe, if I recall correctly, Savannah State was down 34-41, and they had the ball, looking to go drive on the field, march on the field, and tie it up. And I believe toward the end of the game, there was a costly 750 diff, turnover TD. I think the game was supposed to be headed to overtime. It was a little bit. Wasn't as close. It was closer, than the score indicates. I think that one or two numbers differently, honestly, and this game could have flip flopped. 13 points doesn't really indicate how close it actually was.
Definitely. Yeah, it was like just a little unlucky in the fourth quarter that the 14 points by Davidson.
And Davidson, if you're out there,
won by 13.
If you're out there listening to this podcast somewhere, wherever you are in the world, just please give us back our ace on illegitimate belt. Never did anything wrong to anybody else. You just happen to have it, and we have a good sum of money for award. I would do anything just to get this belt back in its rightful place in our conference. Please, I'm begging you. Next, we're going to walk through Mercer Citadel 13-0. This is another curious game. Citadel, I know, was a ranked team at the beginning of this year. I know, when Mercer or looking forward to out of conference scheduling at the beginning of this year, we thought, oh wow, this could potentially a playoff impacting game. I know I'm glad to see Mercer come out with the shutout. I'm not totally sure if this game finished, but glad to see Rico continue to swing upward. I know if you look at the power rankings this week, you notice that Mercer fell and Campbell's ranked above him, even though Campbell lost this past week and Mercer won. So coaches maybe not necessarily giving Mercer the respect he deserves, but nonetheless still a good win out of conference.
Yep. And then we have Samford shutting out Northwestern State. The 17-0. Looks like this game finished because Samford scored a touchdown in the fourth. But yeah, looking like Samford trying to get that OJ this week and completely shut him out. And I think he was posting stats showing how good he was doing. But he didn't get much going on offense, but good enough to win. Especially 1 point's enough when you shut him out.
Yeah, and I definitely this won't be the last we hear from Samford on this show. But glad to see, Northwestern State was, if I recall correctly, they averaged over 35 points per game. To kind of see them bite the dust, as some would say, it's really exciting. Let's see. Next, we got Chatty and Holy Cross. This is a game that was, I think it was 21-14 at halftime. Holy Cross had a lead. I'm not totally sure exactly what happened here. It looks pretty even on paper, but I guess in this, a couple turnovers in the fourth quarter kind of plagued Chatty. No score in the third, so up until the fourth, it seemed like it was a pretty close game. Turnovers kind of ended the game for him, but interesting outcome, I guess. Chatty's been a bit of an enigma as well, but his activity has been, interesting and fun to see as well. So hopefully he can turn it around. I know he's had some wicked success in D2 so far, at least today. So hopefully we can get some of the D2 gods to rub some juju on his team in FCS. Some good juju.
Yep. And almost done. We have Bethune-Cookman almost getting quality loss with Eastern Illinois. But they decide to pull out the win 34-30. Bethune-Cookman staying on a roll. I think they're the only I think they're only 8-0 team in the league.
Yup. Yes, sir.
They're continuing the roll, and they're going to try and continue to keep it up this week.
They're also the lowest ranked 8-0 team, I will mention.
They're also the highest. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's true. And then finally, in a game that some thought Stetson might play, spoiler, will end up losing 0-22 at Incarnate Word. To me, that kind of looks like potential for a game that didn't finish. But we're going to go through this a little bit later. But Stetson has had quite the story arc of his season, and Incarnate Word, I think they're a top 10 team now. It's a good win over an A-Sun opponent, but really wish all the best for Stetson, and hopefully he can get a couple more quality dubs and quality L's the rest of this year. That wraps up last week's games. We were 0-6. We were 6-8 last week out of conference, and I think that puts us 2 games below 500 out of conference for the entire year. So I'm just going to reiterate how I started the show: perennially average to below average out of conference performing conference. But we're still going to bitch and moan because we earned that. So this week I'll start it off. A-Sun had 2 game of the weeks this week, or I guess game days, if you will. Alabama A&M, myself, and Matt at Jacksonville State. And then second half of the week is going to be Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. So I'll start off with my game first. 7-7 late in the first right now. It's been just two kind of haymakers back and forth. Matt seems to have a bit of the momentum right now. Two 50-plus yard run touchdowns for both teams. He's driving in my red zone right now. It's kind of which team will have the ball last or which defense will stand up first. Still about 30 seconds left in the first quarter. But yeah, you want to get to the next one?
Yeah, so ETSU and Savannah State, the battle of the new coaches, are having a shootout. Already 22-15 in second quarter, I think it is. I can't get it to pull up right a second, but
yep.
Yeah, early second. So looking like they might have 50-point games each. So should come down to State just scored. So now it's 23-22. Looks like this one's gonna be a close one all the way through, and we'll see which new coach gets their first win.
I know neither new coach really wants to lose to the other. This is new coach bragging rights, and I made a Shiner Shade a couple weeks ago about if they can both get combined 3 wins in conference. So they're guaranteed one today, but I know Eastern Tennessee is itching for his first win. So to get him off the old bottom of the ELO, and parking him in for the conference. So next, another shootout at the end of the first, or I think there's maybe 1 second left.
Yeah.
Campbell and Samford combined 41 points in the first quarter. Coming out guns a-blazing, as some might say. Campbell forcing 2 early turnovers, but a crucial missed 2-point conversion and onside kick scenario there. Samford up 1 right now. Interesting to kind of see how that plays out. This could be potentially huge if Campbell somehow shakes things up in the ASUN North and gets a win here. Samford's definitely looking to hold on and maintain his pace atop, or not necessarily atop, but right in the thick of things in the ASUN North.
Next, we have Kennesaw State and Alabama State. And Alabama State's up 7-0 late in the first. Alabama State looking to play spoiler to Kennesaw, who, after slow starting out of conference, had just been rolling in conference and is right behind Bethune-Cookman. But loss here could really damage his chances. So Alabama State seems they can play spoiler, and Kennesaw State seems they can hang on until they get a chance to play Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, definitely don't want this to be a trap game for Judge. I know he's got a big game next week with Bethune-Cookman that has division-defining implications, but got to get through Alabama State first. I'll let the turkey gobble on that one. And see, hopefully, we can have chaos week. But not for me. Hopefully, there's no chaos for Alabama now. And then there's 2 other games that haven't kicked off yet: Jacksonville and Mercer, and Chatty Stetson. We will provide more information for you guys on that one next time around.
Then we got one more game that they haven't started yet. They'll start later this week, which is my game against Bethune-Cookman, second half of game day.
Yep.
I think, well, if I win this, I'd still be second in the South behind Kennesaw because he has tiebreaker. But I'm looking to take down Bethune-Cookman, position myself to try and win the South right this second. And Bethune-Cookman is going to try and hold on and keep rolling, keep the undefeated season alive. So that'll start, I think, Monday, or maybe earlier, depending on when the Alabama A&M Jacksonville State game ends.
Yeah, listen, D2 D2 things to wrap up. I just put it in chat. You guys can see, a snapshot currently of the division breakdown right now. FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, and Jacksonville State, Alabama A&M have huge implications, as you can see, on the title or the conference championship game race. And you can also see Kennesaw State and Alabama State. Alabama State currently out of contention for the conference championship game, but could definitely play spoiler to Kennesaw State if something were to happen there and make the South a little bit more clear by the end of this week. Definitely looking to see how that one kind of plays out. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the power rankings from this week. Not going to post my nudes in here. Okay, there we go. I honestly forgot. I didn't write down my power rankings this week. But all 4 top teams playing each other per the power rankings. Do you know if these differed from yours at all?
It doesn't look like it. I can't see any big change. Oh, I think I had Stetson up at 10. And Jacksonville above Chatty. But other than that, I think it's good. I think those are 2 big changes.
I found interesting note that Humpy Boy noted in the chat earlier this week. Campbell lost, and they are ranked above Mercer. They have a worse record, and Mercer won this week. Only 1 point difference, but really.
Oh wait, I think
really goes to show you what kind of drugs are going through these ASUN coaches' minds sometimes.
I think I had Mercer up at 6, but I'm not sure. I have to check on that. I don't the way I was ranking. I think that's where Mercer would be above Kennesaw and Campbell, but I'd have to make sure.
Yeah, I agree too. I think I have him 6, Kennesaw 7, Campbell 8. And you see Chatty as well, tied for 10th, above teams with the likes of Stetson and Jacksonville. His 1 win going pretty far. Activity playing a big role in that. You don't get style points for making mediocre conference logos for the D2, but goddamn if they don't give you points in the power rankings. So that's what power rankings look like for this week. Not quite as crazy a reaction out of the news channel as this week. As last week. Next, I'm going to post the belt information. The nudes channel. I'm going to post a below the belt picture of me. Let's see here. There it is. So not there hasn't been a ton of out of conference weeks over the past couple weeks. There hasn't been a ton of movement in the belt situation until this week. Obviously, FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. A big game for the Florida Belt, a game that might end up determining the Florida Belt based on the the activity of the other 2 coaches in the Florida Belt, Stetson and Jacksonville. And then Bama Belt, Alabama A&M, and Jacksonville State. The Bama Belt should be determined by the end of week 11, because I think that all 3 of the top 3 teams in the Bama Belt play each other over the course of the next 3 weeks. So interesting to see how that plays out, and if it comes down to a tiebreaker of any sort.
Yeah. Sanford saying he plays Jacksonville State week 12.
Oh well, that very well could determine the Bama Belt as well. Like I said, if it comes down to any sort of tiebreaker, that'll be interesting, because then we could potentially see the Bama Belt and Georgia Belt decided week 12, which could have massive implications on the conference championship game. So would love to see something like that. Well, maybe not since I'm in the Mammoth Belt, but would love to dream about something like that. How about that? Let's see. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to kind of mention was just the trends of ASUN power rankings. Let me see if I can. I'm getting good at this whole picture adding thing, so not to subtle flex or anything, but feeling pretty good about myself. Oh, there we go. So this is kind of in the on the ASUN conference sheet that we have where we update it to week. We kind of keep track of all of the teams' power rankings, and you can kind of see that some teams have had the trends for certain teams. I just kind of point out a couple of them. Stetson's trend has been a little bit interesting, the highs and the lows. Bethune-Cookman's kind of ascension to dominance, and he's kind of staying. I don't know. All this kind of stuff's kind of interesting to me. And you see some teams like Savannah State who more or less since week 3 kind of held their own as far as the same spot with coaches respond to games week to week.
Let's see. I've had 1 week not in the top half, which was after my loss to Penn. So, but since then, it's been okay. Just hanging around the top. Yay.
East Tennessee.
Yeah,
East Tennessee is looking to get a season high rank of possibly number 11 week 10. So that'll be
top
one. A big. Oh, sorry. Oh, tie with week 1. That's big power rank energy right there. Number 11. Shoot for the stars, baby girl.
I think the only reason Bethune-Cookman was ranked 14 week 1 was because Campbell took the power rankings before Palo joined. So it was a no coach team at the time.
Palo, is this your first time playing like fake college football, or have you played other fake sports before?
Well, I invited him from MLR.
Okay. He's one of them baseballers.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure, yeah, first time with
Big Scary. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to kind of see how that skill does or does not translate to fake college football. So next, Sanford, we're not going to talk about your batting average, but we are going to talk about your something else related to you. Sunny D of the week. Usually I would, like last week, I gave out some nominees because it was a pretty tight week, but based on the publicity in the channel and just overall performance, I got to give a Sunny this week to Sanford. 105 yards allowed, 2 forced turnovers, shutout versus a high quality, better record at a conference team than he had that was averaging over 35 points per game before last week. He shut him out, and his offense didn't really do him a ton of favors. Only scored 17 points, but when when a team only scores 0, that's enough. So I'm gonna give Sanford the old piping hot OJ this week. Congratulations. Drink up. Yeah, so interesting week, interesting show. We don't actually have a guest today, so I guess I could ask you. We can just go back and forth some of these Shiner Shades, and then we can take some Shiner Shades from the audience if y'all. Oh, I'll just ask myself, and then maybe I'll get some pitchforks and flames in the audience for anybody. I'm gonna shade that. I love Pillow. You're my boy. You're my boy, Blue. I'll meet you in the conference championship game. We'll settle it. We'll settle out in the gridiron. Oh wait, I read that question wrong.
Yes, you did.
I shade that. I shade that. No wait, what? No. I think you love me. I read your love notes in my DMs.
Wait,
I
is he
seem
asking
to.
this because I disappeared again for a second?
By default. All right. So I'm gonna. We can just go back and forth on the Shiner Shades, and if anybody has other Shiner Shades, put them in the chat. So Shiner Shade Campbell, Shiner Shade Campbell finishes the year with a better overall record than Kennesaw State. Shiner Shade, that be.
My initial reaction is shade. Let me check the schedule real quick. Let's see.
Let me see.
Kennesaw has Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Jacksonville, Mercer, while Campbell has Samford, Eastern Tennessee, Bethune-Cookman, Savannah State. Well, I'm hoping Kennesaw loses to Bethune-Cookman, but but I can't go off that. I have to go off what I think will actually happen. I think Kennesaw will win 3 out of the next 4. While I think Campbell go 2-2. So I'm gonna have to shade that and say Kennesaw ends up with a better record.
Yeah, I'm interested to kind of, for me, it comes down to how well the new coaches play against Campbell. It's I don't know if their novelty will play well into their hands or play into Campbell's hands. But Kennesaw State plays Jacksonville, a team that isn't super well known for finishing their games, so that might end up being another W for them. Alabama State, Turk putting up a good fight. An L there could spell trouble as far as the Shiner Shade goes, and for the conference championship game as well. I'm gonna shine that. I think Campbell, ends up probably going 3-1 in his last 4 games, and I think that Kennesaw State has a chance of going 2-2. Okay.
So, Shiner Shade between Stetson, Alabama State, and Jacksonville. Which team finishes highest on the power ranks? That's not really Shiner Shade, but who do you think finishes highest? Stetson, Alabama State, or Jacksonville?
I guess I didn't really phrase that question super well. I mean, with these 3 teams, I think there arguably are 3 least active coaches in the server or in the channel at least. It's going to come down to whoever finishes their games. They both have proven that they can play well when they play, but they don't always play. And those DOGs start adding up. So, based on what I've seen from Alabama State so far, it seems like he has the best win, I think, in the whole season out of the 3 of those teams. Jacksonville played well versus Zand. Stetson has won some games at the beginning of the year, but I think, based on my gut right now, I think Alabama State probably finishes the highest. I think they also have the advantage of being the highest currently ranked in the power rankings. So I'm going to go with Turk.
Okay. Well, in my power rankings, I think I'd have to predict Stetson be the highest, but in the averaged out been ranked. I think I'll go with Alabama State. I think it's a combination of active and winning. I think Alabama State will get 1 or 2 wins through the rest of the season. and Turk is active enough to get people to remember about him.
Right.
So I think it'll be Alabama State who'll be the highest.
I'm just gonna post a pic of the last 4 games of the last 4 weeks of the season real quick. Just gonna save this real quick. Not very good at doing this on the fly. Pelly kind of caught me on my heels a little bit. So next one, shine or shade. So we know that the committee rankings come out this weekend. Shine or shade. We have ASUN has 4 teams in the committee rankings this week.
I know there'll be 2 within Cookman and Jacksonville State. I don't know. I think it'd be me, you, and Samford for those final 2 if we do get ranked. And I don't know how many of us will rank. I'll go shine. I think 2 of us edge in there, kind of like we did in the coaches poll. So I think we get 4 in there.
I hope it's not like the coaches poll, because coaches poll was a train wreck this week. I mean, honestly, I think it could be. I think honestly, it's 3 if Jacksonville State wins, and I think it's 4 if I win. So I think you've done enough so far this year that, well, I guess it really depends. I think if you play Pello close and you lose, I think you still have a shot of being in the committee rankings. If you win, obviously you're in. But
it doesn't count this week's games. It stops. So Dixie State, I did lost to Dixie State's the last thing. Should be the last thing on their minds before the rank.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think my last 2 performances out of conference will probably bring me down, with a big loss to Penn and an okay loss, I guess, to Dixie. So those will probably tank me a lot, since I think out of conference matters a lot more to them. So I think the Kennesaw loss doesn't look as bad now. But I don't. Jacksonville State, I have that win going for me, so it's I think I'd be right on the edge, so I'm not sure right now.
Yeah, do you have any tips for playing Jacksonville State, or just kind of YOLO every play?
I just got lucky. He missed the last second field goal to tie it up, send it overtime. But I think I kept him out of the end zone enough times. I think he scored 21 on me. While my offense was consistent enough to get the win. I got a field goal right before halftime, which ended up being the difference. So it was a hard game. Definitely the toughest game that I've won. Maybe toughest game overall. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't score 21 on me in the first quarter, because it seems to be trending that way. So I have the D2 shine or shade in the document, but I also see that Samford posted an interesting one too. And I guess Samford posted another one about. Let's do this one before we get to the DT one. Shine or shade. ETSU gets a win under their new coach this season. I guess I'll start and then I'll ask your opinion. I'm gonna shine that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if ETSU got a win this week. I feel like both coaches are hungry. Both coaches have a tough loss underneath their belts so far. I think ETSU, dare I say, gets 2 wins by the end of the year. This year, I'm going to shine that. I'm going to shine ETSU getting a win underneath the coach.
Listen to this D if you want. Yeah, and he'll definitely get 4 weeks left. New coach who want a win, he'll definitely get a win this season. this week against Savannah State. Or
Week 12
he
versus
could
Chatty.
definitely, yeah. Or I could see him being a thorn in Campbell's side. Maybe knocking him out of true, actually knocking him out of conference championship contention. Um, the new coaches are usually pretty hard to prepare for. So, yeah, he'll definitely get one win. I could see him getting two.
Could you imagine if you beat Matt? I would die.
Yeah, I don't know what Matt would do. I think he lost. He lost a couple games in conference, and it's just killed him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
It looks pretty good to the committee though. So they've been quality, actual
I think
quality
so.
L's. Yeah.
Matt lost to me and yeah, Savannah State. So kind of tough breaks for him.
So I'm gonna get to two D2 based Shiner Shades since we have some active ASUN boys in the D2. First one I'm gonna take is Samford's. Shiner Shade, an ASUN coach will win the D2 title before the FCS title. Hmm.
I think since we're more spread out and less cannibalizing each other, I think there's a good chance for that. More of us are able to get into the playoffs, so I guess I'll shine it. I think someone will get lucky in D2 before they get lucky in FCS, just because there's more of us that can get into the playoffs there.
Yeah, I like that argument of less cannibalization, but I think also the interest of time, right? So I'm not sure. Mason might be better at answering this question, but I'm not even sure. Will there be like a quote unquote like national champion in D2 this year, or is it just going to be kind of like a oh, okay, then I could be wrong. If that's the case, then I think we might have a better shot at D2 just because we are spread out. If that wasn't the case, I think in the interest of time, I think Pelo or some of the higher ranking ASUN teams have a better chance of winning it this year than having to wait a whole other season for D2 next year. So this is the last D2 Shiner Shade. I know Pelo has a couple, or at least one more Shiner Shade related to actual ASUN. D2 Shiner Shade. Just to pit two of our Commerce commissioners against each other. The NSIC finishes with more teams over 500 than the GSC does. For those of you who don't know, Chatty is the commissioner for NSIC, and Samford is the commissioner for the GSC. Two ASUN boys who became commissioners. Kind of want to pit them against each other and see how their leadership skills translate to fat dubs for their conference.
I'm going to have to go with Shade because I'm in the Gulf South. So, yeah, while I might be stinking it up a little bit in D2, I think the conference I'm in will be better. So, yeah, Shade all the way.
See, I'm actually not. I'm not as involved in the D2 realm as some other coaches are. So I'm, as much as I want to abstain from answering this question, I'm going to play devil's advocate and just going to say shine. I'm going to shine that, just because I don't know. I'm interested to see how it plays out. Right. I want to, Chatty and Samford run with each other for presidency in D2. I think Chatty's got a bit more of a caps lock edge to him, if that makes any sense. I feel like Samford's a pretty regal guy, but sometimes the edge is what separates, what creates an X factor out of some commissioners. So So I'm just gonna, in the interest of playing devil's advocate, I'm gonna shine that. Oh. And I think I gotta scroll back up here through all the boos for my shine or shade question. Um, Chatty asked a question, and then Pillow asked a question too. Said shine or shade. Alabama A&M finished high ranked than Florida A&M in the ASUN poll. He's trying to cause a fight here in the studio. Um,
What is it?
shine or shade. Alabama A&M finishes higher ranked than Florida A&M in the ASUN. It comes a lot down to this week, honestly. I think
Probably.
whatever happens this week.
I think since we're both always on, this is going to come down to who has the better record. And so I have less wiggle room than you. I guess I'll shine it. I think you're going to be higher ranked. I think right now it looks like you're going to win the North, and I think that'll keep you in the number 2 spot for the foreseeable future. So I'll shine that.
I need Matt to do some point shaving first, and then I'll be a little more confident with that answer. I will say, if I win this week and you lose, I feel a little more. But I still think that if there's 4 options, right? In one option, I feel like I end up higher ranking. But if I lose, obviously, that's I feel like I'm gonna fall in the rankings. Even if you do lose, Capello is a better loss, I think personally right now than losing to Matt. Even though not taking anything away from Matt, but just by sheer ranking and Q quality schedule. But yeah, I think and the only scenario where that happens is if I win this week and you lose. I think personally, because even if we both win, you got a better win over Pello than I did, and if we both lose, then I have a worse loss. So I think that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
I think so. If I lose, that put me at 5-4 and 3-2 in the conference. While if you lose, you'd be at 6-3 and 4-1. So I think even if you lose, you're still pretty much in the driver's seat in the North. While I'm pretty much knocked out of contention. So I think the only way I've got to get above you is if I win and you lose, which then I'll be almost in control of the South, while you'll be a little less stable in the North.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I don't know how people are going to vote.
And then there's one more question that Chatty had about D2. So you guys might have to walk me through this a little bit, but his shine or shade was 2 ASUN coaches make the D2 playoffs. So before we get into that, if you guys could, or Solo, if you could, I'm not totally sure the structure of D2 playoffs. If you guys want to provide that for me before I could adequately shine or shade. I think we have a lot of good talent from the ASUN.
Yeah, nobody knows. We have like a 6-game schedule.
Okay.
Because we started in the middle of the year. Okay, they're saying probably 8 this year. If it's only 8, I think there's enough ASUN people in there, and we're spread out enough.
Yeah.
That we can get 2 people in there. It'll be tough, but I think we can sneak 2 people into an 18 playoff.
Yeah, I could see that happening too. That being said, I'm interested to see who comes out of the Gulf South. I see that Pillo's already lost a D2 game, so does that mean that he's capable of losing to a D2 team but not an FCS team? So what does that mean about his the strength of his coaching ability? What conference are you in the D2? RMAC. What's that? Oh, Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Oh, that's right. He's like he's a South Dakota Mines, right? the only school where the sentence has the name. Oh yeah, Colorado School of Mines or whatever. Yeah, that's good shit. But yeah, so that's all the Shiner Shades that I had. Oh, I guess I guess we got through that last Shiner Shade. Did you have anything else?
I don't have anything. Yeah. I think that's all I got tonight.
All right. Is there any other last remaining comments, questions, riots in the chat?
Just like we're just gonna argue over the names of some stuff.
Just some grammar questions. It looks like. With that, we're gonna close out the show. Thank you guys for listening again. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and next week we have another Shade Room with Sanford and Pillow. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.